Thank you for starting your day with us here on New Day. Time now for the news. My name is Grace Hamwajiman. Coming up this morning. Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana described government's ban on export of grains as premature, adding it will put pressure on farmers. Also this morning, victims of Volta Dam Spillover sue government and the VRA over failure to honor compensation packages due them. And reconstruction work to begin on Accra motorway as President Akufo-Addo cuts sod for a new 10-lane highway. The bulletin begins right here, right now. In the face of an unprecedented drought threatening Ghana's agriculture, the government has declared a state of emergency, revealing staggering losses of over 22 billion Ghana cedis in potential revenue. As nearly 1 million farmers face dire circumstances, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has outlined urgent interventions to avert a looming food security crisis. Here is Emmanuel Samani's report.
The recent dry spell has significantly impacted crop production across 8 regions of Ghana, leading to a near-drought condition that threatens the livelihoods of thousands of farmers. As of August 20th, approximately 928,000 farmers covering 1.8 million hectares are at risk, with losses estimated at 7.4 billion if conditions do not improve. In response to this crisis, government has implemented immediate measures through the Farmer Food Relief and Recovery Program. This includes a temporary ban on the export of grains such as maize and rice to ensure availability in the local markets. Farmers with existing stock are encouraged to sell their produce through District Agriculture Department to minimize losses.
With immediate effect, government is placing a ban on the export of grains, including maize, rice, soya bean, until the situation normalizes. This measure is essential to ensure the availability of these critical crops on the domestic market.
The ministry is also actively sourcing grains from the ECOWAS Grain Reserve and the private sector, aiming to procure 300,000 metric tons of maize and 150,000 metric tons of rice to support vulnerable farmers and maintain market stability. In addition to grain procurements, the government plans to distribute cash transfers of 1,000 cedis per hectare to farmers most affected by the drought. This financial support will help them recover from their losses and reinvest in their farms.
With the projected shortfall in grain supply, government will tap into the ECOWAS Grain Reserve and partner with the private sector to bridge the gap. Government will also bring in 300,000 metric tons of maize and 150,000 metric tons of rice to provide food support to vulnerable farmers who have lost their crop and also for the market.
At the cost of $500 million to implement these measures, the government aims to build resilience in the agricultural sector to withstand the challenges posed by climate change. Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana say the ban announced by government is premature and will put pressure on farmers. Former Executive Director of the Peasant Farmers Association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, says although the food crisis is imminent, government could have averted the situation much earlier.
You know, I don't think that is the way to go. We need to do broader conversation on that. Otherwise, it may backfire.
You mean the ban is not going to be much of a help?
The ban, I think it's too premature to announce a ban. I say this with clear evidence of what that happened to us last 2 years. The ban rather put farmers more into a risky position than what it intended to do. You see, let's take last year, 2023. We produced so much that we, as an association, approached the government and gave them a strategy to help us to mop all what we produce and farmers cannot get market and store them so was during the rain season or emergency season, it will release into the market. Government never buys. Farmers nearly actually committed suicide because they took loans, they have to settle their utility bills, they have to pay for their kids' school fees, and no market for their produce.
Right.
So we're only fortunate that the Burkina Base and then the Togolis came into mop up. So if government is announcing a ban, what we expect to hear from government, what are the measures in place to ensure that there is guarantee market, to ensure that we have prices that commensurate with increase in cost of production. But if you just ban and then without putting in those measures, by the end of the day, you are making the farmers to suffer. And when the farmers are not able to get good market to commensurate the loans and the cost of production, the following year they won't go into production again.
Still staying with issues of food security, there are fears of potential food insecurity in the northern parts of the country following the absence of enough rainfall this year, leaving many farmlands dried up with crops destroyed. This is after farmers have been waiting for the rains to do planting, while others have already planted their farms and continue to wait in limbo. Correspondent Ibrahim Wangara put a spotlight on some farms in the Upper West region.
The irregular rainfall pattern in the northern parts of the country has left farmers devastated, with commercial farmers the most affected as many farms have been destroyed due to the lack of rainfall. Groundnuts, yam, millet, rice, sorghum and maize farmers are the hardest hit. After waiting for the rains in vain, many farmers have retired from their farmlands, hoping for divine intervention to enable them salvage some of their crops should the rains come again. A 50-year-old farmer who has cultivated 350 acres of maize in the East Enclave of the Upper West region expressed his frustrations.
It has greatly affected it negatively. You can see how crops have been affected. Those that are tasseling and during the drought period had been affected badly. Last year, for instance, we had about 150 acres. But we harvested more than 3,000 bags of maize, that's the 50 kgs. And this year we increased it to 350 acres. We have lost a lot. We have lost a lot. No matter how many times the rain comes, but those that we have planted earlier have already affected, and I think we have lost them like that.
Some farmers also vented their anger over the lack of rainfall and destruction to their crops.
For the rainfall this year, it has affected a lot. I applied the fertilizer in June up to August. I didn't get rain, so it has affected my crops a lot. Last year, I farmed 20 acres and then I got 150 pieces of 100 kgs. And then this year too, I can't best tell. But all my maize, it has spoiled.
And the land that the bulldozer clear is about 38 acres. That is 38 acres that the bulldozer clear. But I want to use the land to sow sorghum. But currently, there is no rain that for me to use the land to plant the sorghum. So currently, I left the land. I don't know what to do. I'm totally confused. I don't know what to do.
Abdul Manaf also fears the phenomena may have an adverse effect on food security in the country, while having the tendency to serve as a disincentive to the youths.
Considering this year, a lot of young guys went into farming because we believe that that is the area that can help boost the economy in this country. But what have affected us this year, I think many people will be discouraged. I think the whole of Northern Belt, everybody has been affected. I think that food security in Ghana is something that the government have to take seriously. If not, we are going to face a very huge challenge.
Though some part of the north have begun witnessing little drop of rainfall, to most farmers, all hope is lost as they continue counting their losses. Ibrahim Wangara, TV3 News, Chase, East District.
Here in the studio, my name is Grace Hamo-Adjuman. Let's do some other stories. Member of Parliament for Northong, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has revealed that his constituents who are affected by the spillage of their Konsomo Dam will seek legal redress over government and VRA's failure to honor compensation packages due them. Over 12,000 people were displaced due to spillage of the dams in September 2023. It's been almost a year since the Akonsombo Dam disaster, and victims lament they have not regained normalcy. The decision by the Volta River Authority (VRA) in September to open the floodgates of the country's largest hydro dam, the Akonsombo Dam, citing excessive water levels threatening the dam's sustainability, led to the destruction of livelihoods and property. During a stakeholder engagement on the dam spillage, the District Chief Executive of North Tongue, Divine Osborne Fenu, indicated over 1,000 residents are still displaced.
When the spillage started, about 69 communities were affected. About 12,633 people displaced that were affected at the time. Then we have 4,216 people living in the safe havens. Currently, we have about 1,360 displaced persons in the safe havens.
MP for the area, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, says the victims are seeking legal redress.
We have said that if government does not do something about compensation, we have spoken to our lawyers. We are headed to court because it is our right. Next month will be the first anniversary. So we have met and said that if by the first anniversary we don't get strong indication, we don't see actually the first group of people receiving compensation, then we have no choice but to resort to the courts.
The Interior Ministry has meanwhile cautioned the Volta River Authority to adhere to all protocols in subsequent exercises to prevent any havoc.
We have charged the VRA to do same. So it is up to them. They have a presentation, as I said. They have looked at all the areas. An event where they have to spill the extent of water that will go there. And the question is, do we still allow people to live there? But we can look at it as a temporary Ramsar site or something, where we all know that, okay, you don't build it. And that has to be a collaboration with the traditional authorities.
The stakeholder engagement on the dam spillage is part of efforts to collate ideas in finding realistic solutions to the effects of the dam spillage. Well, so September 15 will be exactly a year since the spillage and all the havoc it has come with. We'll see how it pans out, whether government will present a compensation package before that time. Moving on, the National Identification Authority, NIA, says it is investigating over 100,000 Ghanaians who attempted double registration for the Ghana card. The authority has further withheld those cards in contention, awaiting the outcome of the investigations into the circumstances that led to the act. Christian Yale reports that the NIA is, however, struggling to print outstanding cards due to debts owed its partners.
Over 18 million Ghanaians have been registered onto the National Identification Register, with over 17 million Ghana cards printed as of August 20th, 2024. According to the National Identification Authority, a total of 110,936 Ghanaians attempted to engage in double registration for the cards, but were apprehended. The Executive Director of the NIA, Professor Kenneth Atefa, noted that the cards have since been withheld pending the outcome of the investigations.
In the case of total enrollments, 18,145,839 Ghanaians registered onto the National Identity Register, and the total issued is 17,323,416. We have a total of 110,936 as a number of Ghanaians who have attempted multiple registration and therefore whose cards have gone into delinquency and are being investigated.
Meanwhile, the authority is faced with financial constraints that are affecting the printing of over 151,000 Ghana cards. Professor Atifa revealed that the National Health Insurance Authority owes NIA $58 million, while the Ghana Revenue Authority owes 288 million cedis. This has resulted in the NIA failing to settle debt owed its technical partners.
The National Health Insurance Authority is indebted to the NIA to the tune of $58,004,027 and the Ghana Revenue Authority owes the NIA $288,245,000 238 Ghana cedis. We owe our technical partners, and all of that means that cards are released when the bills are paid.
Now, on the issue of identity fraud, the chairman of the committee, Samuel Okujeto Ablakwa, raised concerns over the double identity of Reverend Kusi Boateng. Professor Kenatefa, in a response to that, says the database developed by the National Identification Authority ensures that no single person exists twice on their database. The NIA is ready to register Ghanaians living in other countries, with the pilot registration set to begin in Canada. Christian Yale, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Welcome to the Election Command Center. Let's start from the quarters of the NPP, and running mates of the new Patriotic Party has advised chiefs and indigents of Pon Katamanso to reconsider their voting pattern for the NDC and back the NPP. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, who called on the chiefs to seek their blessings ahead of the December poll, stated that the constituency cannot boast of any substantive development within the 28 years of voting for the NDC.
Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh received cheers from party supporters when he arrived at Pon. He was accompanied by the party's parliamentary candidate, William Asante, Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover, constituency chairman and other government and party officials. He told the gathering that, though the MPP has never won the Pon Katamanso seat since the start of the Fourth Republic, significant projects executed in the constituency happened under the MPP government. To buttress his point, he cited a newly constructed hospital, which will soon be commissioned among several others. He stated how the constituency could not boast of any substantial development in the area, with the NDC maintaining the seat for the past 28 years.
It is the only party that will do both the structural development and the human-centered development. 2.3 million jobs have been created. It is not enough, but at least we have moved from freezing of unemployment to creating more jobs. And that is why one district, one factory is in, to try and even employ more. That is why we are building 111 hospitals. It is Ghanaians who are going to work there.
The MPP running mate told the chiefs to consider the many social intervention policies that have been implemented under the various MPP governments.
I'll plead that if it's a water situation, we will tackle it. But we need time. We need a renewal of our mandate as a government to be able to do everything that we want to do.
Some party bigwigs, including Greater Accra Regional Minister Titus Glover and Joe Garte, also addressed the gathering.
Flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party has proposed the payment of living wages to divisional chiefs and queen mothers, in addition to paramount chiefs who are already enjoying some support, which he described as meager. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, in his tour of constituencies in the Greater Accra region, stressed his government will amend Section 63 of the Chieftaincy Act, which will give more powers to traditional leaders to help in nation building.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia's Greater Accra constituency store took him to Ablekuma North, West, Central and South constituencies. He used the opportunity to meet and greet constituents at the Odoko Station, Malam Market and Kokompe. At Christ Apostolic Church at Dakuman, stakeholder engagement were held. He revealed that an MPP government will bring to fruition a Women and Trade Empowerment Fund geared at building the capacities of women traders across the country. The MPP flag bearer met the Sempe Manche together with other traditional authorities, where he mentioned plans of empowering the chieftaincy institution in order to live up to its mandate.
At the moment, to be able for you to help us, we are proposing that we have to resource the chiefs. At the moment, we only pay the paramount chiefs, and it's not a lot. So we are proposing living wages, not only for the paramount chiefs, but for the queen mothers and the divisional chiefs.
To address chieftaincy-related confusion, he said an MPP government will codify lines of succession to each stools. Members of Parliament of the constituencies were present to offer their support together with other party bigwigs. The tour ended with a combined community connect at the Tony's Park at Dansuman in Accra.
We are your Election Command Center. Stay with us for anything and everything election, even as the December polls approach. Moving away from elections, the Accra motorway has become a death trap due to poor visibility at night, compounding the already deteriorated highway. In our first in the series of Fix the Street Lights campaign, we put the focus on the 19.5-kilometer stretch, which does not have a single street light, leading to frequent accident and heightened theft cases. Here's George Queening's report.
Talk of Ghana's jaundiced transportation system and the state of the Accra motorway comes to mind. Built some 59 years ago, the motorway has outlived its usefulness, and that is evident with its current state. Iron rods used for the highway are now visible. The purpose of street light is to create a lighted environment which will contribute to the safe and comfortable movement of vehicles and pedestrians during the dark hours. But the situation is quite different on the Accra motorway. It appears when street lights are fixed, they go missing. Some newly installed street lights in 2021, which were flagged by the Ghana Standards Authority for failing to conform to standards, has disappeared. The Ghana Highway Authority has pointed to vandalism and theft by some unpatriotic citizens as the main reason behind the malfunctioning and absence of street lights on the motorway. In September last year, some solar-powered street lights were erected around the Tamaban toll booth, and the purpose was to enhance visibility because most vehicles, particularly haulage trucks, were crashing into the toll booth. 11 months after, these street lights are nowhere to be found. Residents living along the motorway are disturbed about 10 of events.
A hard dream to say I like to be any one. Members are not ni pay trim, I dare some bay to crowd going. Say you be cross the road, no crown, I see you be Genadia.
The lack of street lights is very worrying. Drivers can easily knock down pedestrians, and also theft cases can increase. Government must intervene.
Even during daytime, there are a lot of accidents. From the stretch right down to that place. What about what happens in the night? Yes, so that one is a very big concern.
Equally worrying is the ordeal motorists go through plying the highway at night. They have increasingly voiced out concerns over the lack of street lights, which has led to frequent accidents and heightened the risk of theft cases.
Without the street light, I can't see anywhere. So where we have reached now, in fact, I don't know where we are now. So small time, I'll ask the driver, where are we? So you people try to do something over it for us.
But it's very, very bad because unfortunately anything can happen on the way. Some of us are not using, how do you call it, highlights. Some of them too are using their dim lights. So we are appealing to the government to help us with the street lights.
It is very terrible to drive in the night on the motorway. The system seems not to be working, and the leaders are just watching on without any intervention.
It will take extreme caution to navigate the Accra motorway amid the total darkness. And for some drivers who are not on the lookout, external factors like pedestrians crossing from the sides of the highway could cost them a lot. Road safety expert Dr. Godfrey Achinadakwa sees this shortfall not to be limited to motorway, but a national issue.
It is very unfortunate, sad, and I am always dismayed that a motorway, and the only most express motorway in Ghana, has no street lights. It's disheartening. Street lights are good for driving and for road safety. If we have street lights, and we have the road markings clearly, trust me, road accident can reduce by a margin of about 55%, even if drivers are driving 100 kilometers per hour. The speed on that road is quite high, and we don't have a single street light.
He wants government to expedite effort in the motorway expansion project.
So if it's going to take about even 1 month for the construction to be completed, and how many people do we expect them to die? One single death in our nation means a lot for the nation, and you should not allow that one to happen. Look at the frequency of accidental deaths that they keep on reporting daily, and it seems it doesn't bother anybody. I don't know what the road ministry is doing. I don't see what they are doing. Let me tell you something. If you maintain roads, Ghana highways, listen, if you maintain roads, it costs less to maintain roads than to be building and constructing new roads. So let's try to maintain roads when they do it. Now the roads, they do it maximum 4 years, it's gone. Look at motorway, since Kwame Nkrumah did it. Such a wonderful, beautiful motorway. But look at how it is now.
The rehabilitation and expansion of the motorway will take 3.5 years to complete. It's expected that it will come with street light as part of the project design to illuminate the highway. But should an intervention of lighting the 19.5-kilometer highway hinge on the expansion project completion? Josh Quainin, TV3 News, Accra motorway.
Let's stay on this topic, but go to the Ashanti region, where safety on most major roads across the country is being compromised owing to non-functioning of street lights. In Kumasi, the situation, according to city authorities, continue to contribute to the surge in pedestrian knockdowns and fatalities. Here is Ibrahim Abubakar's report.
Driving and crossing on some major roads within Greater Kumasi at night is increasingly becoming uncomfortable and risky. While some street lights work intermittently, others have remained non-functional for a long period of time, posing a threat to the safety of motorists and pedestrians. These street lights meant to enhance visibility at night have rather turned into a decorative facility. Records from the National Road Safety Authority indicate that between January and June this year, over 100 pedestrians have died from vehicular knockdown in Kumasi alone, and most of these incidents occurred at night.
If you look at places like, let's say, from Stressful to Aputoja coming to Asqua area, from, I think, Dompasi Junction area, driving at night is not the best. So the assembly school also help to light the roads to also enhance passengers, pedestrian safety along that stretch also.
Notable roads without functioning street lights are the Asqua and Loga Junction New Road, Suso and Sutek Junction Road, and Atonso Agogo Esresu Road, among others. The darkness on our streets is not only causing road fatalities, but contributing to crime.
Anytime you're kurana and do week na say do.
For this stretch, anytime they fix the street lights, it doesn't function for more than a week. And when the lights are off, criminals take advantage of the darkness to rob and hurt passers-by. There is a bus stop few meters from here, and walking there is very dangerous because of the darkness. I've personally been robbed there. Authorities should fix the street lights. Using this road is dangerous because of poor visibility. When someone or an animal is crossing, you hardly see, and it often leads to knockdowns. If the lights were to be functioning, most of these knockdowns could be avoided. Chief Executive of Kumasi Metropolis, Samuel Pine, responded to the issue.
Currently, we're distributing through the MPs and through the Assembly, we're distributing 50 pieces to all the 40 electoral areas through the Assembly members for installation where they see to be darkness. And therefore, we're working assiduously towards that. We're also being in touch with the Ghana Police Service and the military to help us with security, especially portions that we have people vandalizing the cables, stealing the cables and the rest. So that's what we are working on.
Road users want city authorities to fix all street lights to improve security. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Kumasi.
Well, still talking about road safety, President Akufo-Addo has sought for reconstruction and expansion of the Accra-Tema motorway, which will be transformed into a modern 10-lane highway with full accessibility, easing traffic congestion and improving safety. The Tema motorway reconstruction is being undertaken through a public-private partnership with a wholly Ghanaian-owned company. The project, covering 27.7 kilometers, is divided into 3 sections. This comes after several months of promises by government to modernize the stretch, which was built under Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, in 1965.
The Accra Tema motorway and extensions PPP project stands as a symbol of demonstrating Ghana's capacity to innovate and lead in the realm of infrastructure development. The reconstruction of the Accra Tema motorway will be executed, as the Minister of Roads and Highways has said, in 3 distinct sections. Section 1, Accra Tema motorway roundabout to Tetekwashi interchange. Section 2, Tetekwashi interchange to Apenkwa interchange. And 3, Section 3, Apenkwa interchange to New Plant Junction on the Accra Kumasi Road. Our purpose at this gathering is for the commencement of the construction of Section 1, a critical segment that will pave the way for enhanced connectivity and economic growth.
That's it for our package this morning. My name is Grace Hamwajima. Thank you for joining us. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. New Day continues with the rest of the